So, you just got your new $500 rear sump oil pan from CX Racing and you're ready to slap it onto your SR20. Well, not so freaking fast because there's like a crap ton of stuff you have to do. I'm a little bitter. Anyway, you need to run up to your local hardware store, pick up 16 of these M8 by 1.25 bolts with 35 mil shanks. These are how you're gonna fasten your oil pan down to the block. Oh, and yeah, if you wanna use like an Allen cap screw, you can just forget about it because these holes are ginormous. Here's a 10 millimeter head. Yeah, so you can use a cap screw if you want, but you're gonna have a washer anyways. And I like these flange bolts because they have little teeth on them that'll dig into the aluminum. The only caveat is that you have to clearance some of the welds for these to fit, or for anything to fit for that matter, because when you put them in, they touch the welds. So yeah, simple oil pan install, guys. And then on the rear section of the engine where the rear main housing is, you have these studs. You have to just put 2 nuts on them and back them out. So you'll use 2 M6 by 1.0 bolts with 30 mil shanks. And then for your oil pickup, you're gonna need M6 by 1.0 10 mil shank bolt. That's for this front. I'll get to that in a second. And then you'll just use your factory oil pickup bolts. But in case you don't have them, they're M8 by 1.25 20 mil shanks. And then yeah, you'll just need a new gasket. Okay, moving on to this thing. My God. Yeah, so what was important for me on this setup was making sure that there was 0 obstruction between these 2 holes. So this hole and that hole. I want to make sure they're perfectly lined up. And in order to do that, and to make sure that this thing will actually bolt up, you have to modify this bracket like crazy. You probably see all the little hammer marks that I did on it, as well as using crescent wrenches to kind of bend it and manipulate the metal. But yeah, this is actually where it's supposed to be. It's 3.5 inches off the deck surface right here. And it fits perfect. Here's the 2 pieces that I cut off. This is the first time, and this is the second time to make it even shorter. As you can see how it comes, it would just smack right into the girdle. No good, no bueno. I mean, like the slot doesn't even line up. Like what the, whatever. Anyway, there's that. Yeah, you know, $500 oil pan, and it comes with this garbage. Not even a magnetic pickup. I mean, I guess I'm being, I don't know, a brat at this point, but yeah, I mean, look at this. Round me off, daddy. Like that thing's just begging to get destroyed. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna go pick the, I'm gonna go tomorrow and check the threads on this. It looks like an M18 by 1.5 thread, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'll get back to you on that. That way you can just order a magnetic drain plug and be done with it. And then you will have to modify your dipstick. So if you don't, it's just gonna go, it's gonna smack right into here. If you can see, there's the high and the low mark down there. It's a little dirty, but you can see the low, the L. I just trimmed it there and then rounded it off with a file. So that way it fits. Let me try this little one-handed kind of deal. Bloop. So as you can see, it sits right below the oil pickup. So no interference with the pan whatsoever, and you actually know your oil level. Yay! So yeah, guys, I'm not gonna put baffles in this thing because I actually wanna finish this in like a few months. I know you're like, yeah, right, dude. But I'm serious. I want to get rock and rolling on this thing. I don't want to sit here and make this into a 10-year project. That's not what this is about. I want to get out there and start sliding. So I'm going to quit messing around with like every little tiny thing, and I'm just going to go for it. And if this engine blows, great. I'll put a K24 in it. Call it a day. So yeah, I'm going to get this pan on and get cracking. Okie dokie. Went ahead and installed this oil pickup tube. Pretty straightforward. These 12 mil bolts right here get torqued down between 12 and 14 foot-pounds after you put your gasket in, of course. And then this little guy right here, I just did kind of hand tight with a socket wrench. I just kind of felt it. Used some blue medium strength thread locker underneath it, just in case it gets any ideas and tries to make an exodus and cause mayhem inside here. So yeah, a little bit of thread lock on there, hand tight, and then yeah, 12 to 14, just using your old trusty 12 millimeter sockets. Psych! Yeah, you thought it was gonna be easy, but what about thin wall sockets, Chance? Won't those work? Hell no, they won't work. And you know, you gotta get yourself a 12 millimeter crow's foot, you know, like one of these in here. Thanks, CX Racing. Oh my God. So even though I absolutely hate this pan, and I think it was a waste of money, you know, it's all I have right now, so I need to stop complaining about it and just get it installed. I did go to the hardware store and figured out that this was in fact an M18 by 1.5, so if you guys want to swap that out for a magnetic drain plug, there you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pan on the SR real quick, and I'm going to find all of the pieces. So I line it with these dowels back here, kind of doing it one-handed. So I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna put all of them in, so I know that I'm gonna have to grind a little bit of that weld off there. Some on this back corner right here. I think that one might be okay. And then just a little right there. These should be all right for the most part, but I'm just gonna do a nice little test fit. I'm also trying to see how I'm gonna go about putting those in first. I think what I'm gonna have to do is drop the bolts in first and have them kind of dangling underneath there, and then lower the pan down to try to sit there and screw those in. I haven't really thought that through yet, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing on there. Okay, so I chopped these down about 5 mil from what they originally were. So they were 35 millimeter shanks. So for 4 of the bolts, you would need to get 30 mil shanks, and then they fit in there just fine. So you can see, no issues there. You could also just get a really long one, like a 40 mil shank, and then chop the head of it off and use it as a stud, and then just use nuts for here. But this works pretty good too. So anyways, got the Dremel out. Gonna use some of these deburr bits to clearance some of those contact points in the weld areas. So I just finished clearancing the areas around where the bolts are gonna go. Prettiest thing in the world, but it'll work. Kind of get that done. That side right there. In there, a little bit back here. So we should be good. Sweet, the pan is on. Just went ahead and hand tightened everything just enough to where the sealant started squishing out the sides. I'm gonna wait an hour, come back and torque everything to spec. All right, dudes and dudettes, the oil pan is officially torqued down. So for these 10 millimeter perimeter bolts, it's 12 to 14 foot-pounds. And for these little 8 millimeters that I have back here, I believe it's 5.5 foot-pounds. I don't have anything that low. I just used my best judgment with a 1/4-inch ratchet. Hopefully everything holds up good. I don't have any problems with it. Did everything I was supposed to. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and flip this thing up, take it off the stand, put the flywheel and clutch on, mate the transmission up permanently as if I was installing it, and get this thing kind of over here in the cradle. I'm gonna run over to the steel supply tomorrow, get some more steel. I have some right there, but I need some other things. So yeah, catch you guys on the next episode. Cheers.